Okay. The reason why I'm showing this right here as my background is the Supergirl movie that's coming out next year based on the comic book Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. It's pretty much like True Grit. So yeah, that's pretty much what it is, and it is pretty interesting how all that happens, and okay, this makes sense right here. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Okay, and also I found another way to represent a minute here. Gallery. Oh, sorry, I'm just trying to figure out a good way to represent this movie. I mean, this might work actually. I can see what's going on with this probably. Yeah, this might actually be good. I can probably also test out. So it's John Wayne from True Grit, and that's kind of how I like to see it, really. Um, I'm trying to get a good representation of the actual movie. Okay, hold on. Might be a little bit difficult to present an overall thing, but yeah. So sorry about that. I just like to represent this whole thing in a more general idea. So yeah, this is okay. So yeah, this is True Grit. I just want to show y'all that this is not Guardians of the Galaxy or anything of that sort. I'm just gonna tell you that people need to relax. So yeah, so yeah, that's kind of how it works overall. I just really want people to realize that um, this craziness, this craziness has been pretty crazy. Yeah. So that's so yeah, that's kind of how it works. I guess no one's really here. Yeah. Okay, whatever. Okay, so far no one's um, wanting to do anything. So Reset password. Security code. Authenticator. Authenticator app. Be there. And okay. Okay. So I'm just gonna be here to. So I'm just trying to do this. It's been a few minutes, of course, but you can use this to like chill for a sec. But overall, this is interesting. Yeah, pretty cool overall. The reason why I'm saying True Grit is because Supergirl is very, very like True Grit kind of style, and I think it's a pretty interesting idea for using a western to depict a superhero movie, kind of like Jonah Hex. You know, Jonah Hex is a very very western type of movie. So Supergirl being kind of like a western is pretty interesting, making like space western, sort of like Star Wars, but like more like western, I would say. But it makes you think of how interesting. Oh, hi. Yeah, I seen it. It's pretty crazy. Like you said, I freaking love Dave Bautista, and I have many ideas for who he could play in the DCU, but he and I never discussed a role in Man of Tomorrow, nor have we discussed it. So, in addition, truly, none of the names from the 6 or 7 I've seen rumored for a role have auditioned or been discussed. So that's pretty crazy. Like all the rumors are pretty fake, I guess, from what from his perspective. It is interesting how that happens, right? It that's pretty crazy. I think having it True Grit makes it interesting because not a lot of people watch True Grit. And True Grit, there was an original one in the 70s from John Wayne. I can quickly show you this one. This is kind of the poster for it. and I could show you kind of how it felt. This is the way it looked. Hold on. This is the way it looked originally. The John Wayne one. Paramount Pictures presents, and it was, I think it was a Warner Brothers movie, which is pretty cool. And here's the one that most people remember. This is the True Grit right here. So that's what I'm. Yeah, Sean O'Rourke is like very, very confusing. That whole comparing box office situation. Like I just and plus I think my previous post was pretty interesting too. I can. So my previous posts, I can probably share my screen. Right here. So yeah, overall, I can show you this right here. This is my screen, so obviously I want to be copyrighted, whatever, right? But here's my thing. Yet another time I destroyed another video. This is the video I'm talking about. Supergirl teaser trailer sucks, actually. And then I commented this. This is literally based on the comic Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. She is a drunk, depressed woman trying to live life with the scar memory of her planet from being destroyed. This comic is liked even from people who don't like uh, who hate Stephen King. Voice sounds AI, so nice, I guess. He's destroying the environment. That's a little joke because people talk about destroying the environment all the time with AI. Um, she isn't undermine Superman when she says he's good. She sees the truth. It's just stating a fact. So that's my point of that post. Another awesome video. This is a person, people that actually watched the teaser and actually understood what it was like and all that stuff. And here's another post. Had to call this person out. I didn't talk about ratings, nor said none of recent movies made a billion. That's how I pointed it out. I can point this out. You forgot about less people go to the theaters. Generally, let's forget about tickets being more expensive, making a harder decision to even buy a ticket in the first place. Let's forget that studios don't put it in theaters as long as it was before. Let's pretend everything was fair and even all across the board. So that's my thing. This cross 19 million, forget to list, and then sometimes audiences don't know what they want. Joker made a billion, but no one asked for it. Who was taking another talking about ratings? I was pointing out the fact. Yeah, I was pointing out the facts, and he does not like the fact that I point out the fact. Well, this mentality is very toxic. People are people call can like who they like. People like Snyder. People like Gunn. And that is fine. Exposing Gunn thanks his paid shills and Gunn counts in this. That's what I'm saying. The reason why I'm pointing this one out is because it is weird that this future DC Warrior action is saying this. And by the way, this account of his is like his fifth account because he keeps getting um, banned and all that stuff. Here's another thing. Yeah, just not make it fair and pretend it's a black and white gray area right there. See, just listing this, and he thinks that he won in that situation. It says, yeah, forget about less people go to the theaters. Generally, this the board. See, I just destroyed that argument right there. It's like new fans right there. This is a new fan. He watched Superman and he enjoyed it and all that stuff. Nice video, dog trainer. Here's a video about a dog trainer reacting to Superman. Dog trainers talking about Superman. It's pretty interesting how that works. And see a fan of the comic loves the teaser right here. He read the book, enjoyed the teaser. He understood what was going on for the teaser and everything. There it is. So that's for talk. Where's Aaron Fisher with his lawsuit? Clearly, this is his style. So that is it. He sends most of this video talking about the peeing scene. Bro, move on. Move on from those few seconds. She clearly is potty training him. So this whole that's my issue about this whole video right here. He talks about the potty training scene pretty much most of that entire video. He's like, oh, it's disrespect, oh, disrespect, oh, disrespect, even though it doesn't make sense with that. And here's the thing, I get accused of talking about Snyder fans too much. So what else would y'all like? That's my thoughts on that. And here's the thing. Talk about people who should stay off the internet. Yeah. See that's that situation. And here's this. 15 people voted here. Is Aaron Fisher a Snyderverse channel? Most people said yes. I don't know what the 13 was, but most people did say yes. Tell me you don't read the comics without telling me. Wow. So this is a channel, a video that he kind of bashed on the whole time and everything. Here's this. Since everyone that likes the trailer are shills, then strangers are shills too. So this is my point. This guy showed the trailer to complete strangers. So that's the thing. Now people can't just enjoy movies. These people think just because you don't like something, and yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even like just because you disagree with a person, they like a movie, you don't like a movie, doesn't mean they're shills. The teaser was amazing. The rumors were exaggerated. It looks like a good time. So that's the thing. Tell me you don't know without telling me. See, I always kind of mention that. Here you go. And here's the post that I'm kind of proud of right here. Here is this, and then if you click on this, James Gunn posted a surfing thing, and I said, since this project's happening, he surfs on his discs. So that's kind of how that happens, and I'm proud of how I kind of thought of this. It's like popular doesn't mean box office. Rent purchases and reviews and recent in reactions and video essays and all that adds up. Popular can mean words like word of mouth and fan posts and all that. I can even see the people who hate it talk about it also could count. So that's my thing. People that are like constantly bashing on the Superman movie might have also counted the whole popularity of the IMDb thing because they're still talking about the movie, so it's constantly like mentioned. So that's another thing. How crazy people can be are not toxic. Okay, I'm just gonna. Okay, there's a very sick individuals. You have failed in life. Restore the Snyderverse. You insult me like this, and you say I have mental issues, and I'm being fair and not calling all Snyder fans toxic. Snyder fans are not toxic. That is an extremely stupid thing to say that only weak-brained sheeply repeat. Cut the crap and get a life. This crazy individual is crazy. Guillermo del Toro really liked this movie. And what's crazy is this is kind of split in half. 12 people voted. It's split in half, which like makes it crazy. Here is a post that is crazy right here. No, don't be stupid and ignorant. You are sick. You are sick individual. You have failed in life. Restore the Snyderverse. Insulting me like this, and you say I have mental issues, and I'm being fair and not calling all Snyder fans toxic. So yeah, my whole point is some Snyder fans are toxic. I'm not calling every Snyder fan toxic. And then he responds saying, Snyder fans are not toxic. That is an extremely stupid thing to say. That only weak brained sheeply repeat, cut the crap and get a life. So here's my problem in that situation because he insulted me with extremely stupid thing to say. Only weak-brained, brainwashed sheep. It's like get a life. It's so stupid. And I responded saying, "I'm talking about the toxic ones. I know most Snyder fans are not toxic. I am talking about the ones that threatened to sue me, the ones that review bombed a movie a year before it came out, aka Godzilla vs. Kong. I am talking about the ones that attack fans for different opinions. I'm talking about the ones that cancel a charity for self-deleting people because the guy doesn't like the toxic fans. Need I say more?" So that's my issue on that case. And that's kind of how everything perspired. And yeah, that's just a crazy thing. It was only a teaser for the teaser. The reason why I'm saying that is because he says, "Oh, it doesn't explain anything, doesn't show anything, it needs to hype everything." And it's like it's a teaser for the teaser. The actual teaser didn't even come out yet, and he bashes on whenever a ship went down. So yeah, it's just crazy how this great video praise movies. See, he enjoyed the movie, so I was like, yeah, this is a good video. Great conversation. Yeah. See, I'm just spreading the word of having people just watch it. Hi. And by the way, the reason why I'm showing True Grit is Supergirl. The Supergirl movie is very like close to like a True Grit kind of story. And the reason why I'm mentioning that is because these toxic people say that it's, oh, they're just copying Guardians of the Galaxy, even though James Gunn didn't direct or write this movie. His notes were probably just saying, make it lighthearted, like make the serious moments not like too strong or something like that, or something like those kind of stuff. But this is like a true grit story. It's very deep, depressing, and intense overall. So yeah, and yeah, this is crazy moments happening. It's just crazy. So this is what I've been showing. Sean O'Rourke just does not understand how movies work. And if you really want to see, here is the movie tickets right here. Look, even Superman 2 beat it. Bit Me on a Steel. And look at this. How Superman was very, like, pretty close in tickets. 5 million is not that far off, really. And the fact that it was 5 million after COVID and after all of the situation is a really crazy feat. The fact that Superman Returns was pretty close also says something, you know? And this is kind of how I responded. It was pretty crazy. I just think these people need to get a life. So here's the situation right here.
Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about the critical drinker. I don't like this guy very much because I think he's a grifter. That is to say, I don't think he believes much of anything he says on his channel. I think he's pandering to his audience, a group of people who have a lot of strong opinions about things they haven't seen or don't understand, and he takes advantage of them to make an easy buck. He's also a serial liar about things that are just objectively true or objectively false. He'll just lie and even try to cover up his lies as a show of the fact he actively knows he's a liar.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't believe me, stick around. We're going to be going over some examples in a moment because the new Supergirl movie was announced. Big old trailer. Everybody's talking about it. But there's a certain group of people online that aren't thrilled about this movie. And the critical drinker, within just a few hours of the trailer dropping, put out a video complaining about it and making a lot of grand assumptions about the movie as well. Most of them being a sheer blatant sign of the fact that he does no research and puts little to no thought into any of his scripts. He's just trying to pump out content that's algorithmically relevant and
Yeah.
pander to an audience. And he doesn't fundamentally agree in any or believe in any of the nerd stuff that he associates himself with. Now, I've got a video here that does a really good job of breaking down the critical drinkers sort
Yeah.
of broad internet-wide freak out over Supergirl. It's a video by the Birdman. Thought we'd give it a watch, and I'd give my thoughts on it because I have a whole
Yeah.
lot I want to say. So if you end up enjoying, leave a like and a comment. It helps the channel a ton, and I appreciate it. If you don't know what to say, you can say who up Xandering they haul, or tell me what you think of the video down below. I always like the conversation. But thank you for watching. Thank you for subbing. And
That's
without
good.
any further ado, let's get right into it. We love the Birdman, and we don't like the critical drinkers, so I'm excited for this one.
A day. He couldn't wait a single day before revving up the grift machine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
DC releases a teaser trailer for Supergirl, and this dipshit couldn't wait a day to jump on the hate train for something he hasn't yet seen. Literally, day zero, this was his tweet. An ironic one at that, as you have the critical drinker.
What it is really ironic because everything that he's making fun of about this poster is his branding. Like the ironic thing is Supergirl is just kind of the female critical drinker, or she's like the archetype that the critical drinker tries to embody for his brand as a woman with superpowers. Like she's literally wearing sunglasses and is like drunk all the time, just like the critical drinker.
Yeah.
It's very ironic.
Drunk wearing glasses. Edgy.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Yep.
The critical drinker calls a drunk wearing glasses edgy. You can't
Sarcastically.
make this stuff up.
Yeah.
You know, I called this one instantly. This is precisely how predictable these people have become. If a superhero project stars a woman or a minority, these idiots come out of the woodwork like roaches when the lights go off. And it's sad, really. These people and the parrots that follow them have such miserable lives where literally everything that releases is out to get them or hurts their feelings in some way. Only the cynical grifter.
And that's the thing. The grifting YouTubers, I don't feel like they don't think that way because they're just thinking about making money. That's it for them at the end of
it's
the
all
day.
about
The
money.
audiences genuinely feel that way. They're being pandered to because, you know, the feelings they have that are being pandered to are the feelings that new pieces of media that have any kind of diversity or progressive messaging in any way showing in them is an attack on their ability to have fun and play games and exist. Everything they care about, everything they love is threatened by wokeness, ruining games.
Yeah.
Has something
or
to
movies
show
or
for
shows
it.
or whatever it is.
Thousands
Comics.
of dollars whining.
Yeah.
Which of course only makes the people doing it for free even sadder.
Yeah, that sucks,
Anyway,
man.
Let's hear what he has to say.
This movie is a wacky, irreverent adventure about a dysfunctional, loose cannon protagonist with a love of dancing and 1980s pop music who uses snarky humor to mask their inner pain and turmoil. They're not your typical superhero, that's for sure, but when they get embroiled in a world-ending conflict, they're forced to team up with a group of likable misfits. They're not...
What I love about Critical Drinker is how when he wants to hate something, the hate starts the second it becomes public that a thing is going to exist. Before there's even a poster, knowledge of who's getting cast or who's directing a movie, if a movie is being made or a project is being worked on that these people have decided they're going to attack, they will start the attacks the second they know it exists. I remember when, like, for years, when all there was just the announcement that Amazon would be making a quote-unquote Lord of the Rings show, the entire internet already hated the show the moment that announcement came out. Everybody was, specifically the right-wing YouTubers, were going against it. And
just attack.
Like, it's just an example, one of many, where like these people started hating something before the thing even existed. You know, it's complete hack behavior.
Your typical superhero team, that's for sure.
Wait a minute. Isn't that just your tweet, but reworded slightly? I mean, I knew you were a lazy hack, but come on.
Hey, there we go, hack.
Both this soliloquy and your
I agree.
tweet are completely wrong. But in order to prove this, I must first explain Woman of Tomorrow. The new Supergirl film is based on the comic book Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, an 8-book miniseries by Tom King. Remember that name. It'll be important later.
Yeah.
This story is told from the perspective of Ruthie, a young alien girl on a planet with a red sun who loses her father to the space pirate Krim of the Yellow Hills. Ruthie, being a young girl, sets out to find someone capable of killing Krim in revenge for the slaying of her father, and happens upon a bounty hunter whom she offers Krim's sword as payment. The bounty hunter attempts to steal that sword, and a drunk Supergirl who is celebrating her 21st birthday intercepts the bounty hunter and retrieves the sword. Ruthie, enamored with and thankful to Supergirl, follows her and makes her the same deal, which she refuses because Supergirl doesn't kill people. Krim appears with the bounty hunter and tries to kill Supergirl and Krypto, very nearly succeeding because this planet has a red sun which slowly depowers.
Damn, bro's spoiling the whole movie before it even comes out. This is apparently what the movie will be adapting, by the way. So, what's so disappointing about Critical Drinker, I shouldn't say disappointing, I should say unsurprising about the Critical Drinker's entire grift, is that he has to rush so quickly to get his hate slop out about a piece of media that's just been announced. Even if it could take him 5 minutes of reading a fan wiki about the comics to find out how foolish he's going to look when he says the things he will in his video, he doesn't care. He knows that at the end of the day, only a fraction of the people who will ever watch his videos will do so with a critical mindset. That for the most part, the people who watch his stuff are just turning their brains off and going into sort of autopilot, maybe playing a game or doing some other thing in the background while they listen, and they're just consuming right-wing propaganda with no critical thinking. A lot of even comic fans might end up letting this slide. Even if they've read this issue and know exactly what the movie realistically would be adapting.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the politics grift really breaks people's brains.
Supergirl, and is why she came here, so she could physically get drunk for her birthday. Krypto is poisoned by Krim's arrows, and only he knows the antidote for the poison. Krim then steals Supergirl's ship, and now unable to fly after him due to the red sun, Supergirl is stranded with Ruthie, and they go on an adventure to catch Krim, force him to give them the antidote for Krypto's poisoning, and kill Krim for killing Ruthie's father. This story is fucking awesome, and I highly recommend any comic book fan that hasn't yet read it to do so, because not only is the story and artwork phenomenal, you'll be introduced to a fantastic new DC character in Ruthie Mary Knoll, and she might even be your favorite character in the story. Now, back to Drinker's tweet. He's characterized this trailer as a wacky space adventure about a dysfunctional hero who has to partner up with a quirky band of misfits. Now, dear viewer, what part of the synopsis of Woman of Tomorrow that I just explained is a dysfunctional hero partnering up with a quirky band of misfits?
None of it. Literally none of it. I have watched the Supergirl trailer. I did, Dylan Mai. The funny thing is, everything about what Critical Drinker just said is just him trying to luck out on criticizing this movie in an accurate way by attacking it for things that are common tropes in Hollywood, or at least that the internet has made into infamous Hollywood tropes. And so he just pulled all that out of his ass and hoped, beyond hope, that nobody calls him out on his bullshit. That he clearly doesn't have any idea what this movie is about or what it's adapting. That he acts as though he's some OG fan of this property who's protecting it from being ruined by the poser infiltrators. He's gatekeeping the fake fans from ruining.
See, that's the issue right there, right? Like, Critical Drinker acts like he knows the property, and he says, oh, they're changing all this, they're making it all woke and everything and all that stuff, when all he really needs to do is just click on the link about what the comic book was actually about. Just read just like that synopsis and then just figure it out. But of course, that doesn't fit his narrative, because if it's actually a thing that he would actually agree with, or he might say, oh, I was wrong, he wouldn't read anything that would prevent him from being wrong. So
the property with their adaptions. But in reality, he clearly hasn't even read this. He can't even be fucked to go read the wiki page about this issue.
Exactly.
There are two protagonists in this story, not super.
By the way, really quick, shout out to Gay Nerd 06 for the $5 super chat. Very kind of you, my friend. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So Zan, Woman of Tomorrow, the movie's source material, is so peak I read it twice. I've never been more excited for a movie. Hell yeah, I hear it. Well, it seems like it's going to be good. Superman was good, and this one seems like it's going to continue to keep up the good. I'm hyped.
Supergirl partnering up
Thank
with
you
a
for the
band of
$5
misfits.
redos.
Supergirl isn't dysfunctional. She came to this planet in order to celebrate her birthday, and because there is a red sun, she's finally able to get drunk. In the comic, the reason she does this is because she's still mourning the loss of her mother, father, and Krypton, something the trailer actually shows. Also shown in the trailer is Kara suffering from a hangover, another thing lifted directly from the comic. Where in that trailer was it shown that this apparent team of misfits are taking on a bigger threat? Krim, while dangerous to regular people in the story, is literally no match for Supergirl and has to use a magical orb to BFR her. So you see, so far, nothing of what Drinker has said about this film is accurate to the trailer or the comic book this story is based on. This is because
it honestly seems like he might have an AI, like some kind of branch of ChatGPT or something, where he can ask it to write a script for a Critical Drinker video. You have to imagine that there are AIs that can be trained off of like a big enough YouTuber as Critical Drinker's videos enough that they could realistically write a script for a video that sounds like him on any new topic. And he doesn't even have to write the script. He just has to read it and then edit in the footage from the trailer. And it's just him ranting about how bad it is. But because it's AI and it's talking about a new thing that's coming out, it comes off as though he ended up not even proof checking what the AI wrote up and just put it out there. It genuinely feels like an AI generated criticism. Maybe he is just that shameless though. Maybe he did actually write that script. If he even scripts his videos, he might not.
Drinker does not know what he's talking about, has no knowledge of the source material, has a child's grasp on marketing material, and is so fucking lazy that he won't even do the bare minimum to understand why certain things are being shown to him. It has been known long before this trailer even dropped that they would be adapting Tom King's comic book. Here, I'll prove it. This is a screenshot of...
By the way, I see there might be a few people watching. Comments. Let's discuss stuff. Are you just lurking? I'm guessing, but it is odd that I believe there might be. Oh, yeah, that kind of sucks. But pretty cool that you found me at least. But yeah, we could do something. But good luck with your school. So good luck. And by the way, you can watch this back and whatever, right? And comment afterwards, I think.
Wikipedia's entry on the film from July of this year. You can clearly see they stated this film would be an adaptation of that comic book, and this was the time the Critical Drinker was complaining about Superman, saying it wouldn't surpass $600 million. So it should be clear
I remember
to
that.
everyone here that he did not do his due diligence and is pulling things from his ass in his strange crusade against James Gunn that has seemingly come out of nowhere. To harp further on this point,
well, remember, the Snyder Bros are like a cult of hate against James Gunn online. If you can pander to the Snyder Bros, you've got a pretty dedicated group of people you can grift off of when it comes to any type of content production. But what goes even further about all this is the fact that this movie is probably going to perform really well. And he's now doomsaying it. He's claiming it's going to fail. It's not going to hit certain box office numbers. And then it probably will hit those numbers. And you know what he's going to do? He's going to go back. He's going to delete these tweets, and he's going to pretend like he never said any of these things, and that he actually made different predictions, which were proven right in the end. That is what he will do. My favorite example of this is when Critical Drinker saw the announcement trailer for House of the Dragon, when it had its first season announced, and made a video where his reaction to it was called, "Who Cares About House of the Dragon?" And, you know, the thumbnail is all about how no one cares, no one's talking about it. In the lead up to the premiere, he's tweeting about how no one's talking about House of the Dragon and it's going to flop, it's going to be a woke flop, etc., etc. And then it releases, ends up being HBO's biggest premiere ever on night one. And Critical Drinker deletes those tweets, and he goes back and changes the thumbnail and title of his original reaction. So no one can go back and see him predicting that House of the Dragon, the biggest success in HBO's history, would end up failing. Because he relies on the idea that his fans think he is a perfect predictor of the future, that he has flawless insight into what people want in their media. So if he ever makes an incorrect prediction, what value do his words have? So he has to pretend like he's always been right and is never wrong.
Yeah.
He's blaming James Gunn when this film is written and directed by people that are not James Gunn, something he later acknowledges in this video, but still blames James Gunn anyway. And
Yeah,
here's the
that's
hilarious part.
weird.
Remember when I told you to keep the name Tom King in mind? Well, this is Tom King, the writer of Woman of Tomorrow. If you zoom in, you might start to notice something a little strange about this Wikipedia page. And it's this passage where it clearly states that Tom was brought into DC Studios to be one of the
Oh.
architects of the DCU.
Literally have the comic
So
writer
the
working
writer
on
of
it.
the story this film is stated to be based
Yeah.
on is
It's really
heavily
cool.
involved with this film. And when you watch the trailer seems to be lifting things directly from the comic book it was based on
Yeah.
that this man wrote. And Drinker still blames James Gunn.
Yeah.
The same
Yep.
James Gunn that
So
explicitly
dumb.
stated it's important to him that the writers and directors of these projects give their own self-expression to those projects.
Yeah.
The same James Gunn that stated he's giving those artists the freedom to create what they want to create, and
Yeah,
that he
letting
likes when
everyone
things
do
are totally
whatever.
incongruent but come together in interesting ways.
Pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Like, I hope you do well in your school and do get a good life out of that, and would be kind of cool. I'm open to anyone collaborating with me at some point, you know. And if you're open to talking, that would be kind of cool. You don't need to show your screen, your face at all. You can just put your like your profile picture and just like turn off your computer and stuff like that. If you don't want to show your face, you can just discuss it through voice. You know, it's just so we have a quick response time and all that stuff. Just discussing stuff. But overall, it's good that you watched it. But have a good one if you're just going to school. You know.
That James Gunn.
The 8 to 10 year arc is, a lot of what DC is, and the fun for me really is in the world building, not just the story building. That's,
Yeah, he
DCU
likes world
is,
building.
I don't think of DCU as being, oh, this is a story we're telling over multiple films and TV shows
Yeah.
about one big bad. I don't want to have to do, as an audience member, to do the home.
James Gunn seems like a chill guy. I like Peacemaker. I like Guardians of the Galaxy. I like Superman. And I know he's not directing the Supergirl movie, but like he's sort of the overseeing director of all DC projects now. So much like the Kevin Feige for Marvel. So I feel like I don't know. I feel like he's gonna have his sort of flavor in the movie for sure. You'll be able to feel that he had a part to play in it. But I like him. He seems like a chill guy. He seems cool.
Homework to have to see every single thing. It is more of a connected universe that exists within one place, which is the DCU.
Exactly.
Which will have differences depending on who the artists and the directors and the production designers that are making the shows.
Which will have differences depending on who the artists and the directors and the production designers that are making the shows.
Boom.
Our gang have to learn to put aside their differences and work together to save the day. And along the way, our main character finds a new surrogate family in this crazy group of outcasts and learns that sometimes...
I want to, but I gotta like check with my folks first. And that's fine. That's fine. That's completely fine. And just like, don't tell them it's like a business thing. Tell them it's more like a having fun, just talking, you know, and your name and stuff are not going to be there because you're using your profile name, like, and all that stuff. So that's all it is, right? So that's completely fine, and it's just going to be just a talking thing. Of course, it's going to help me somewhat through like views and stuff. Like people are gonna like watch us talking about stuff, but you're gonna be more liked and everything because my audiences are like pretty consistent. And overall, even if we disagree, it's gonna be a good conversation because I did a good conversation with Cascadine, that YouTuber, and we disagreed with stuff, we agreed with stuff, we both had a good talk. It was pretty cool. So overall, it's going to be a interesting conversation regardless. And you can do like, and if you're open to doing more, you can do more, like write stuff. Um, I guess not kind of for me, but like write stuff that you and I can do, or you can like create. You can think of ideas we can talk about and all that stuff. So it's a collaborative effort overall. But yeah.
The real heroes are the friends we make along the way.
It's like it's wild how he thinks he able to I'm so sorry. It's wild how he thinks he can summarize the entire plot of a movie just from watching the trailer.
And by the way, the reason why I have True Grit on my background is because Supergirl is pretty much like True Grit, a movie, and I can show you more. This right here is True Grit, and if you want to see more with this, this was the original True Grit, and right here it says John Wayne, Glenn Campbell, and stuff like that. So this True Grit is what it was at. Really do, but I gotta check with my parents first. And on top of that, oh, it's purely just gonna be this is this is purely just gonna be a just a conversation through that. I can do. I'll show you an example. You don't need to click on it or anything like that. So, but this is an example of what I'm talking about. All I really need to do is send this link right here, and you can click on it, and then it'll send you to StreamYards, and through StreamYards you can either use your phone or use pretty much any form of things that has a camera, because most things that have a camera have a microphone, and through that you can like deactivate the camera or cover the camera or anything like that. So that's kind of how it'll work. So if you click on like links like this through directly from my account, it shows the name and then the profile picture and everything to prove that's a real thing. You click on that and then boom. That's kind of how it works. And I would accept anyone that joins within the thing. So that's how it works overall.
Mind you, he's hated this movie since like it was originally announced it was going to exist. This is just the first time he's gone into detail talking about how much he hates it, and he did so hours after the trailer came out. This is what grifting looks like. When you can track somebody's formulation of their opinion and see that they had no time whatsoever to have actually arrived at an opinion honestly.
Yeah.
That they just took one by default. They just took an instinctual one that they knew would make them money.
Sweet. I'll be open to a collab at some point, but can't do it now, but at some point. Yeah, exactly. I just posted that just for an example, and all it is just a link to the StreamYards thing, and then through the StreamYards thing, it'll ask you like what you want to use. Like you want to use your camera, you want to use your microphone, and all that stuff. Like all like the predictable questions. You can say yes and no and either or, and then after that, I think it'll ask you to upload a photo for a profile picture for that, and you can use the same photo you're using right now, or change a different photo and stuff like that. So that's kind of how it'll work, and it'll do the whole thing where it's like your profile picture is like right there, and then a bubble is going to expand every time you talk, to indicate that you're using the microphone. But even then, you can also be if you're worried about your voice thing, you can also either do a different voice or do a talk through like a voice changing like toy, or you can talk in a different way that you usually talk, like you stutter or you skip like a few seconds every time, stuff like that. But overall, we can just discuss stuff. Overall, it's gonna be fine. So yeah, that's all I really had to say about that.
After everything that I've just told and shown you, it should now be very clear that this guy is a moron that doesn't know anything about what he's talking about.
Yeah, have a good one, and good luck with your classes. I hope you do well with all your classes and tests and whatever. And yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool.
His grasp on marketing material is amateur at best, and it's clear he immediately hopped on a microphone the second this trailer dropped to drum up hatred on a property he hasn't researched in the slightest.
And make
Which
some
is
cash.
incredibly irresponsible when you have an audience that is measured in the millions. It's obvious that he was going to dislike this property no matter what it did, and that's why we've got tweets of Drinker unknowingly making fun of himself before that trailer even released.
Yep.
Hey, Drinker, that drill bit isn't nearly long enough.
You know, it's interesting how a movie that was officially at least...
I wish he did it. I wish he actually did it. I would pay money to see Critical Drinker actually do it.
Neither written nor directed by James Gunn is somehow shaping up to be the most James Gunn movie that ever James Gunned. I don't know how else to say it, but the trailer that just got released yesterday is basically a comprehensive checklist of every tired, played out James Gunn cliche from every superhero movie he's ever made. There's the dog to kick things off, because there's always a dog.
Wait, I just realized he's summarizing Guardians of the Galaxy. What he's doing when he summarizes this movie without having an actual synopsis to go off of, he's not summarizing the comic or what he thinks the movie will actually be. He's summarizing Guardians of the Galaxy, and I guess you could argue Peacemaker as well, or like Suicide Squad. There are like 3 James Gunn movies with this concept where like a group of misfits become like a squad and have an objective where they do things. I don't think most people watch Guardians of the Galaxy, Suicide Squad, and Peacemaker and feel like they're going for the same thing. It took me a minute to even make that connection, but it seems as though he's just assuming that this will be the case. Even though the last James Gunn movie everyone was talking about, Superman, had nothing to do with misfits forming a group and taking on adversity, right? The Justice Gang are not a group of misfits, for instance. You know, like Superman is the main character. Yeah, it's like he's not even right about the stereotype in the most recent memory of people's minds of what like the last movie he put out was.
Dog in a James Gunn movie, because everyone knows that putting a cute furry animal in your movie is pretty much the quickest and laziest way.
Does he not realize it's the same dog? Is he pretending like he watched the Superman movie? Because at the end of the Superman movie, Supergirl shows up and says, "Hey, thanks for taking care of my dog for me," and her and Crypto leave. Crypto's her dog. Like, it's the same dog from the Superman movie. They literally set up the dog's reappearance in the future. He's literally complaining, like, another super-powered dog in these movies. And it's like, no, it's the same dog, man.
Of speedrunning your way to audience sympathies.
This is what I mean. A very hastily written script that is simply inaccurate. First of all, what do you mean a dog is always in a James Gunn movie? Do you mean non-cameo dogs as a main or prominent character as Crypto is in the DCU? Because there weren't any in Slither, just random dead dogs that were mutilated by the parasite. Those are about as prominent as the dead cows were. How about the Belko experiment? Were there any dogs in that office building where the story takes place?
No.
What about Brightburn? Were there any prominent dogs in Brightburn?
No.
It's literally just Critical Drinker doesn't actually watch movies. He just pretends to watch movies. So he's only aware of Guardians of the Galaxy, Peacemaker, and Suicide Squad. And any other James Gunn movie, all the other ones you listed, he either forgot about when hastily writing his script or just pretends not to remember because he wants to stereotype James Gunn movies in a way that his lame brain audience will resonate with.
Exactly.
Oh, that was only a movie produced by James Gunn, not written and directed by him? Well, so is this one, so that has to count.
Yeah.
But he's talking about superhero movies, right? Well, was there a prominent dog in The Suicide Squad?
Is this thing a dog?
A dog?
Yes.
What kind of dog you think it is, mate?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with all the breeds.
Okay, fine. There are some dogs in some of the movies, but they are usually not prominent characters.
He's not a dog.
Let's keep going.
We've
He's a
got the
weasel.
obnoxious use of 1980s pop songs because, by golly, James Gunn sure does love his classic pop music.
That song was only in the teaser trailer, and we do not know if that song is going to be in the actual movie.
Like, Critical Drinker is so dishonest. It goes to so many lengths.
Really liar.
How can I explain this? Okay,
Big liar.
so one of the biggest frustrating factors, and if you watch any Critical Drinker video, you might notice this. And his excuse for why he does it is copyright. But no other channel that does what he does that, unless they're shit talk. Like no other channel that talks about media and shows scenes of the media does what he does, and presumably they're not getting copyrighted to hell. So clearly that's not why he does it. But what Critical Drinker will do, if you watch any of his videos about a show or a movie, when he's showing footage of that show or movie, he goes into the settings in his editing software and lowers the saturation by 50%. He desaturates all of the visuals for the show or movie and does not play any audio. So you don't get any of the music, any of the soundtrack, any of the dialogue or delivery, and you certainly don't get any visual stimuli. He removes all of that from the version of the media that he shows his audience. So if you haven't seen the movie or the show, which you probably wouldn't have if you're watching a Critical Drinker video about it, then you might be appealed to if you see a beautiful shot in the movie, colorful and well lit, et cetera, Like if the shot itself is just beautiful, you might think maybe there is some confidence behind this project and go and watch it and make your own opinion. That can't be allowed. So he desaturates the visuals to make it so nobody sees the footage that he shows and thinks the movie even looks good. That is how dishonest he is.
Movie. This is the Doylist Watsonian dichotomy, where we on the other side of the fourth wall are seeing and hearing things the characters within that story are not. Again, this was a teaser trailer. The song that plays in the actual film will in all likelihood be something completely different to what we heard in the teaser. You know, because she's on an alien planet with a red sun. But I'm not entirely sold on them having 1980s American music playing on a planet light years away from Earth. And newsflash, James Gunn does not have a monopoly on liking or using 80s pop music. Music from that era is extremely popular and is used all the time because it's recognizable. Atomic Blonde's trailer used 1983's Blue Monday. Kick-Ass's trailer used 1981's Bad Rip.
Like, you know, when you have to like argue with these people about song choice for a trailer, that is how much these people have fallen. They genuinely don't have a single talented bone in their body when it comes to reviewing media. All they do is shit talk stuff that they all but call woke. And that's it. They aren't actual media critics. They're just provocateurs. They're shit stirrers, and that's it.
Criticism.
Ready Player One's teaser had 1981's Tom Sawyer. I mean, Thriller is played every single Halloween, for fuck's sake. It's entirely possible that the director of this film, who is 58 years old and was a teenager in the 80s, also loves 80s pop music and okayed its use in this trailer. Let's keep going.
And also because after being forced to listen to Kate Bush on repeat in Stranger Things, like I was trapped in some kind of Guantanamo Bay torture session, I've developed a thorough and abiding hatred of this lazy, cringe, nostalgia-milking bullshit. It's not cool and quirky anymore. It's just fucking tired.
Another ironic criticism from the Critical Drinker, a guy that literally whines that modern movies aren't like the 80s movies that he grew up with. But
like I said, it's so wild how often these people just flip on a position sentence by sentence. Nothing about their worldview is cohesive. Like they contradict themselves every other sentence constantly.
Yeah, it doesn't make
but
sense
their target
at all.
audience are young, politically undereducated and politically underdeveloped teenagers and young adults who actually see this as some kind of really deep, profound discussion that's worth their time.
I guess this
Taking
time it's
advantage of dumb
different.
people.
Because
Anyway, it's time to introduce our main character, Kara. She's not your typical superhero, though. She's a drunken, cynical, messed up party girl who likes to cut loose and do her own thing. She's definitely not here to live up to your expectations, that's for sure.
Girls get it done.
again,
There is no way that Critical Drinker likes the boys. There is no fucking shot, bro.
This is Drinker failing to have done any due diligence on this film or the source material the film is based on. Once again, Kara travels to planets with red suns because she's a Kryptonian and she cannot metabolize alcohol while on Earth. So for her birthday, she's having a little fun, and clearly she had a little too much fun and is hungover. This is damn near directly lifted from the comic. Because the guy that wrote that comic is one of the architects of the DCU. Further, Supergirl is a little depressed because she lost her planet and is still grieving. Something, again, from the books and implied in this.
I am really excited to see this movie because I liked Superman a lot. I was super hyped for like the setup in the future, and hearing what the comic is about, it's like, yeah, that's pretty cool setup. I like that. Just the idea of a not like Earth focused Kryptonian hero being adapted to screen and adapted competently as well.
Yeah, this
trailer. I mean, why do you think they're showing her on Krypton? To show us her origin story? Oh, you mean yet another thing from that very comic book? I wonder what they're trying to communicate.
She's played by Millie Alcock, who turned in a great performance in House of the Dragon.
Good
I'm
one.
sure she's going to do her best here. I mean, she's not exactly statuesque like I'd imagine
There it is. He literally mentioned it. I like how he pretends to like House of the Dragon now because it's popular, and he predicted it would fail and was wrong, and then pretend like he never predicted it would fail and cover up every case in which he said that.
Supergirl to be, but whatever. It's not like we'd expect her to do crazy stuff like work out in a gym or anything. But
never predicted it would fail.
I'm sure she's going to do her best here. I mean,
I wonder what they're trying to communicate.
She's played by Millie Alcock, who turned in a great performance in House of the Dragon.
Good
I'm
one.
sure she's going to do her best here. I mean, she's not exactly statuesque like I'd imagine Supergirl.
There it is. He literally mentioned it. I like how he pretends to like House of the Dragon now because it's popular, and he predicted it would fail and was wrong, and had to pretend like he never predicted it would fail and cover up every.
He pretend that he doesn't. He didn't act like, oh, this sucks and stuff like that. You know, like that's
every case in which he said that.
Supergirl to be, but whatever. It's not like we'd expect her to do crazy stuff like work out in a gym or anything.
That's because you don't know shit about Supergirl. This is how she appears in the book this film is based on.
Not exactly jacked.
Not exactly statuesque or
there you go.
extremely muscular, but I digress.
She's not jacked.
All she has to
She's
be
not
is
even
taller
shredded.
than Ruthie, and considering the actress playing Ruthie is 4'10" and Millie is 7 inches taller than that, this works perfectly fine. Besides, wouldn't your ridiculous audience dislike a muscular female character? Don't the people that follow you call anybody with a six-pack manly? I mean, this is the Supergirl your audience has been pretending to know anything about. I see two things, and they aren't muscles.
But she looks fine as the drunk, out-of-control party girl who's going through a midlife crisis at 23 for some reason. Oh my goodness, it must be such a drag to be young and hot and superpowered. Can't imagine how you cope with it.
Her whole fucking race just got genocided, dog. Her family and everyone she's ever known except her brother is dead, and her.
Yeah, he's acting like looks are the thing that prevent you from being sad. Even if you're good looking, you still can feel sad when something bad happens to your life.
Dog, I guess, but her family's dead, dog. That's why she's upset. Come on. Stay with the story here. Do you know nothing? I'm not even a big Superman fan, and I've followed along well enough to figure out the basics of why she would be upset. It's fucking ridiculous.
Photoshop fan. Oh yeah. They quote. Yeah,
Dude. How dare
yeah. That is just weird. Like, it doesn't make sense to me because Critical Drinker thinks that just because she's good looking, that means her life is gonna be perfect all the time. That doesn't make sense because looks don't mean that your life can't struggle. You know, there's probably a whole bunch of homeless people that are like really good looking, but can't afford stuff. You know, so that's
you make us listen to this idiot, Zan? I'm so sorry. I know the critical drinker is actively growing brain tumors in all of our cerebellums. We're all suffering. We're all dying. I get it. I'm very sorry. You're right. You're right. Listen, if you guys want to see the rest of this video, I highly recommend you go check out The Birdman. We only watched the first half of this video here, so if you want to see the rest of it, you got to go give The Birdman a view. There'll be a link down below in the description, so go click it and go send some support. But if you like my stuff and you want to support it, consider leaving a like and a comment down below. It really does help a lot. If you don't know what to say, you can always just say, Xander in my hall. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell icon if you haven't already and you want to see more from me. I appreciate it. Of course, consider joining my fan Discord as well, link down below in the description if you want to be a part of the main core of my community and fan base. I always love to see people joining there. With that said, though, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.
good video overall. So yeah, that's kind of how like it's pretty crazy. I'll say. Okay, I'm gonna go like that and go to videos. Studio start. I log in. It says settings. Studio start by logging into your account. Community tab. Go to community in the settings window. Select community tab. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna end stream.